So, as it's sprinkling on my head, nothing on the radar, I decided to do a video on natural cordage. We live here out in northeast Kansas, and there are several plants and trees that you can use to make natural rope. So, I'm going to go over a few of the main strongest ones with you. This right here is called slippery elm. So leaves look like an elm tree, but notice how big the leaves are. Really big leaves. And the way you could tell it's slippery elm is because when you start to take the bark off, it's slimy. It works as a mucilage, really good for coughs and other things. So the bark is actually medicinal. I use it for medicinal purposes and also for a fire starter. It's really easy to scrape off because of how slippery it is into little pieces. But you can also make rope out of it. Here, I took a larger piece of the slippery elm. This is actually the bark. And I didn't know for sure if the bark could be used as cordage, because I heard that it was the second layer or third layer that's normally used for cordage. But I did make this when the bark wasn't completely dry, and it held its size. It didn't shrink at all, and it is super strong. Like, I cannot rip this or break this apart with my hands, and this is actually just the bark alone. So very strong rope just from the bark. I haven't made any from the inner bark yet. I've been kind of making that into the medicinal stuff for my jars and stuff. This here is milkweed. It's very popular. Butterflies like it, so I try not to pick it too much. We get a lot of monarchs migrating over our property. So there'll be flowers on there, probably some caterpillars in a few months. And you can tell it's milkweed. Let's see if it'll focus. Because there's this white substance that comes out. Now this substance is very sticky. You can actually almost use it like Elmer's glue. So, like, it's sticky. So you don't want to get on your skin. Some people are allergic to it. But yes, so you can take the leaves off, string the strings, let them dry a little bit. It takes a long time to dry. So I ended up making a cord, rope, whatever, before it was dry. And it did shrink up a little bit. So I would recommend maybe drying it more than 4 days before you make rope out of it. But let me see if I can get it to focus. That phone sucks. This rope is very strong. I made this yesterday, so you can see the loops right there where it loosened up, because I didn't let it dry long enough. Of course, you kind of just do stuff and learn. But I tried to break this rope, bend it, break it, pull on it, and I could not. Supposedly, the milkweed is one of the strongest natural fibers in Kansas. Hoping to get some flaxseed or flax flowers growing, because those are really good for rope making too. Milkweed is also medicinal. Can't remember what it's for, but milkweed's good. I also read that red western cedar can be used for cordage. I have eastern red cedar, so I don't know if it could be used for cordage, but I found this in the burn pile, and it looks like there's some fiber-like material there. So I'm going to take the machete and kind of get rid of some of this bark and see what this fiber does. Sometimes you have to soak the fiber in water, or the wood in water, for a while before you can get the fibers to come off completely in longer strands. But for right now, I'm just going to kind of mess around with it and see what I can get going as it's dry. And then I'll probably mess around with it once it's soaked and see if there's a difference. Because this stuff is everywhere. Really fast growing. And if you can make rope out of trees or even plants, like, just good info to have.